Let's go.
Dr. Rosie Milligan, one of the most sought-after speakers on the circuit today. Her live internet talk show, Express Yourself, is the most provocative, thought-provoking, and talked-about radio show on the internet. There's no holds barred, and Dr. Milligan puts the B in bold. She brings it every Tuesday live at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dr. Rosie has been proclaimed the most provocative female writer of the century. Her books include Satisfying the Black Man and Black Woman Sexually Made Simple, Why Black Men Choose White Women, and the book Nigga Please. These books have raised eyebrows across the country. She has authored 21 books and published 350 titles for authors nationwide. Check Dr. Rosie out at drrosie.com for her books, articles, and archives of her internet talk show. Sit at the feet of wisdom. Dr. Milligan is indeed a timekeeper and scorekeeper. She is the clock, calendar, and almanac for Black America. You need to hear her.
Good morning, top of the morning here in sunny California. You're listening to the Express Yourself Hour. I am your host, Dr. Rosie Milligan, coming to you live with nothing but straight talk here. That's how we do it around here, folks. It's nothing but straight talk up in here. I have wonderful co-hosts who are joining me today. You guys know him. You guys know Mr. Ricky Lamont Davis. How are you, Ricky?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing wonderful. I understand you were at a book signing over the weekend.
Yeah, I was at a book signing. Yes.
Okay. Was it great? Good like yours?
Yeah, it was similar. Ivan, my good friend Ivan, he had a book signing, so it was really good. You know, it was similar to mine, but you know, he was able to get it out, and now he's doing his thing.
Very good. I hate I couldn't make it. I try to make all of them, but it's kind of hard sometimes, you know, with all the other stuff I'm doing. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Really
good to have you back this morning with When the Mustard Seed Get Heavy. That just stays on my mind. Such a wonderful title, because I think a lot of people mustard seed done got heavy around here, okay?
It continues to get heavy.
Absolutely. You know. Well, look like Shawannah Bordenave, my other co-host, my Valley girl. I think she's on with her this morning. Are you
yes, indeed. I'm right here with you, Dr. Rosie.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we still talk about planning some workshop, something we're going to do together. Shawannah is a real estate guru. She sells houses, flip houses, buy houses. She does everything to houses all over the United States. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. We definitely need to put on some type of event for everyone, because I'm also a motivational speaker, author as well of 3 books. And I think, you know what, all of us together, Ricky, Rosie, Keith, all of us together, we can really put on something and really help the community out here. So we definitely need to do that, a live in-person event. So I'm looking forward to
That's a good idea. They'll get a chance to meet all of us. They get a chance to meet the AI man, huh?
Yes, indeed. You know what, I pictured it this morning, and you know I'm all about visualization, all about seeing. Me and Ricky became friends on Facebook.
Okay.
And I think it's time. I think it's time for us to go live and really help people transform their lives, because it's all about mindset in the beginning. And also, if people want to learn how to buy real estate, I can teach them that, and there's so much more. So let's get together for a great event, possibly in November. Let's plan it.
Okay, let's do something. All right, you guys, look, let me tell you. We got a hot show for you today. God dog, this show is hotter than fish grease. Y'all know how hot fish grease get. Anybody ever had a little burn about fish grease, and mom was cooking and you standing over trying to see what she doing, all of a sudden pop, a little grease pop out on you. What are you doing? Trying to run cold water. She's, boy, put some ice on your hand. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You've been there and done that. So we're going to have fish grease topic today. So let me start out. We're going to talk about the signs and behavior of a woman who loves her man. But let me start out saying, brothers, let's get real. Is the woman by your side truly loving you, or just using you until something better comes along? We're going to talk about that. Sisters, are you really building your man up or just hanging around for the benefits. Somebody said, well. Well, let's look at it. Let's look at some of the things. Is she with you for what you provide, brothers? Is she with you for what you provide? Does she still treat you the same way when the money get low? Wow. Or when life get hard? Does she treat you the same way? Does she change if you lose your job? Does she change when you can no longer buy her the things that she wants? Okay? Does she honor you in public? Does she disrespect you? Does she show intimacy not just when she wants something? Is she affectionate? Even when she's not trying to get something from you? Does she share your future vision? Do your woman do all that? Women, do you do that? Because sometimes the man thinks you're doing okay, but you know you're not doing your best. You know you're not giving him your all because he's not all that in a bag of chips. He's just something till something better comes along. We talking about relationships, you all. We talking about loving relationship. We talking about indulging in happy relationship, not just somebody hanging along till something better comes along. Anybody ever been there and done that? I think there's a whole lot of people out there. Well, what they say, a piece of man is better than no man, but I'm waiting on the whole man. I've heard people say that. But some people say, well, I'd rather have no man than a man that's not a man. I've heard it all, you guys. So we're going to lay it out. We're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about the things that a woman does when she truly loves a man. Not just what I talked about, the one who hanging around. I think a lot of women, and men too, hang around till something better come along. But how would you know the difference? How do you know that he's just there till something better comes? How do you know? Remember we did a show talking about the signs and behavior when a man loves his woman. So now we're going to talk about signs and symptoms when the woman loves her man. Somebody told me, you don't need to do no show like that about when a woman loves a man, because she always, the one who in love, she's always the one left behind. I said, no, you guys got it backward. So we're going to talk about some of those things. We want you to join in, chime in, call your friend. Ricky, y'all need to, and Keith, y'all should have had all the men listening today so they'll know if they're really getting what they're supposed to be getting or not. I know you all think you got it all in a bag. You know what it is. Women can be kind of tricky now. Now, women, don't be sending me no email. You need to stop talking about what we do. I talk about what everybody do. I even talk about what I do. Y'all know me. That's how I do it, but we're going to get started. Let's talk about number one, she nurtures and cares deeply. When she really loves a man, that's what she does. She looks out for well-being. Baby, did you eat right? You need to stop eating that McDonald's and fast food. You got high blood pressure. Now, she will wear you down. She's going to talk about it. And soon she'll leave it alone if you just decide you're going to do what you want to do anyway. But she really cares. She's going to be concerned about how you eat. You didn't get your rest. You really been going at it too long. You need to rest. Why don't you just take a day off? I got it. She takes care of her man sometimes even better than she takes care of herself. She really looks after him. She nurtures him. She shows small acts of love and little kindness. She supports him, She's checking in. When he's stressed, she observes it. She don't just say, well, he's always grumpy. She want to know what something is going on. Can we talk? Let's talk about it. I'm talking about the woman. She's nurturing the man that she really cares about. His pain become her concern, and she wants to ease his burdens. That's the woman who loves her man. That's what she does. She respects him. Yep. She honors him in public. She doesn't embarrass him. She doesn't belittle him. If he says something that's not correct, I've heard men in conversation telling in certain stories, and the wife, no, that ain't how it happened. She won't do that, Ricky. She'll straighten him out when she get home. Honey, you know, this statement you made really wasn't appropriate, and it really wasn't right. You shouldn't have responded to that person that way. She doesn't correct him and embarrass him in public. Is that the kind of woman you got? If not, if that's the kind of woman you need, she respect him. What else she does in respect? Even when she disagreed, she communicated in love. I talked about number 1, talked about number 2. We're going to talk about 10 signs and behavior that a woman exhibits when she truly, I said truly, not halfway, when she truly loves her man. So we talked about how she nurtures him, she respects him, and I'll go into number 3, and then I'm going to open up and see what y'all got to say. She supports his dreams. Yeah, she supports his dream. She encouraging him when he talk about the goals and where he going and the things that he wants to do. She's his biggest cheerleader. She's his biggest cheerleader. Oh yeah, go baby. Oh, you know, even though he ain't do nothing much, but she still, go baby, that was good. Even though you blundered when you got up there to do your speech, she's still clapping, just like in church. You see the first lady. First lady don't care what's going down. She could have been had an argument before she get to church, but she's sitting on that front row with her hat on, and she's saying, preach, baby. Mad as hell, but you know, that's what talking about a woman loving her man. She's the biggest cheerleader, okay? But when he wins, but she's his greatest comforter when he fails. That's key. Because you don't always win. Life isn't about always winning, but when you fail, when things go wrong, she is the first person there to bring you comfort. That's 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to open up this mic here, and I want my co-host, one our participant, dive in about what a woman does when she really loves her man. I said she nurtures him. I talked about that. She respects him. She supports his dreams. Okay. What y'all got to say?
Well, I want to jump right on in.
Okay, Ricky, jump right on in.
I think it's important, first of all, and I'm speaking for men, that a lot of times men have been known to not communicate, their feelings, their desires, and what it is they need. And so a lot of times men will put off on a woman for her to just know what a man needs, and she needs to just figure it out. And so what I've learned in my past was that in order for me to really get what I need, I have to communicate it. I got to share it. Mm-hmm. And I think that when you have an understanding, then you start to explore what it is both individuals can possibly do to make that relationship work. And I know for me, it took me a lot of failed marriages or a lot of failed experiences or relationships to understand what is it that I need to be the best I can be, in addition to what I'm already doing. I can't look for a woman to make me better. I got to look for a woman to add to me and to be able to compliment me. Because if I can't be whole by myself, then what am I going to offer that woman? And so I had to learn how to get myself to a place where if I'm going to be with a woman, I got to have something to offer. And if I have something to offer and she has something to offer, then we can both collectively work together. And that's when we start discussing those things on which this is what I need. Like for me, my number one thing that I need from a woman is nurturing. I need nurturing because I can't nurture myself. Oh. I'm serious. I need nurturing. I need a woman who's going to be able to listen to me and understand me and really support me and have my back, not disrespect me, not try to emasculate me, not try to change me, but really add to me and just really want to be a part of my life because that's what I desire. So when you kind of look at those things, you have to kind of talk about those things and share those things to really let a person know this is what I am, this is what I'm desiring, this is what I'm looking at. What about you? And I think when you have that open communication, that's where it starts. But I think a lot of times people just go in expecting you just to figure it out, just to know exactly how to treat them. And this is what it is. And that don't never work because it doesn't go anywhere.
Ricky, why do you think most time that people really don't just lay it all on the table when they first meet? I've heard people say, well, I want him to know this, but I gotta get my hook in him first. It's too soon to talk about this. Do you think it's too soon? Is there anything that's going on in your life that's about you that is too soon to talk about?
At my age, ain't nothing too soon. Like, I'd rather get right to the nick and crannies of it so we can, I'm not into wasting time. Like, I'm very transparent, very open, very honest. And I tell women, because I'm single, right? So when I talk to women, I say, listen, you can ask me whatever you want to ask me, whatever you want to know. I'll tell. I'm an open book. I'm not here to impress you. I'm not here to sound good. I ain't here to win your heart. I'm just here to be open because I don't even know if you can handle me. I don't know if I can handle you. I said, but let's just put everything on the table and let's just have a conversation. And I think based on how I start that, I either scare a woman off or I invite her in. So it's either one or the other. And so I'm just real with that because I've lived a good life. However, I ain't got no time to be playing no games and be trying to sound a certain way. This is what it is. This is where I'm at. And I think when you put everything on the table, then you see what that person's willing to put on the table. If they're not willing to match it, then you got to decide if you even want to sit at that table with them or you just want to get up politely and dismiss yourself.
Wow, I think that's a good way to do it because it's going to come out sooner or later.
Oh, it is. It's going to come. I'd rather come out at the beginning than later on when you have invested interest or invested feelings.
Exactly. It is so important. Even I tell people many times when they're dating, before they get their emotions all involved, one question people fail to ask, particularly, two single people may say to the person, do you think you will ever get married? I think that's a good question to come out with because you dating, putting your emotions, and then 6 months later down the road to me and say, well, one thing I always said, I ain't gonna never get married again. Now you want to kill him.
Yeah, I like that question. I ask that question all the time. I says, do you have a desire to get married in your life? Whether you've been married before, like, do you desire to get married again? Like that, I think that's a fair question because some people don't want to get married. Some people do. So I think that's a fair question, but I don't think for me, that's not a deal breaker. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things where, you may say something now, but let's say something works out later on and your mind changes. Well, you always want to keep your options open. You always want to never say never say, I'll never do, never say that because
would you guard your emotions now? She said, I mean, it's a way a person may say, I don't think I will. But when someone comes on so adamant, honey, if I would marry another person, Jesus sent him to me.
Well, if I'm desiring to get married, that's definitely somebody I wouldn't, continue on. Like if in my head, I'm like, I'm looking for a wife. This is what I'm doing. I'm not going to entertain a woman who says she doesn't want to get married. I'm just not.
So you're not going to be one of those men who say, well, I know what she said, but I'm going to take it to the altar because I know my God. He will answer.
Listen, that's too much. Listen, Doctor, that's too much energy. That's too much energy. I mean, I'm like this. If we can be on the same page, it's just too much energy. I want to be simple and have less energy invested because if a woman says what she wants and don't want, I have to respect that and move accordingly. I ain't trying to change no woman's mind. I mean, you know how hard that is to do, Dr. Rosie, is trying to change y'all mind?
Pray on it, Ricky, pray.
Prayer ain't enough. Prayer ain't enough to be changing a woman's mind. Besides, why would I want to change her mind to conform her to me? That's not right. That ain't fair.
You sure right.
I want her to be real and who she is. And that way, that'd be something I'm drawn to versus something I want her to be.
All right. So what Rick is saying, one of the signs and behavior to him, if a woman loves a man, it goes back to the first thing I said. She nurtures him.
Yes.
That is so
Yes.
key, to nurture. That means to show concern, to show care, to be concerned about everything, about how he eats, about how he gets his rest,
Yes.
about when he's stressed, offering him a solution. So man, you need to think about, is your woman nurturing you? If not, then have you said to her, I need a little nurturing? Why can't we just ask for what we want? Shawannah sitting right there laughing. What's going on with
Oh,
you,
yeah, she's
Shawannah?
smiling. She
What's
got
wrong
something
with
going on in
Valley
that.
Girl?
She got something
I
going on
don't
in her head.
know. I don't know, Dr. Rosie. I mean, I think I show love to, if I had a boyfriend or whatever, a mate, I do show love. And
How do you show it? How do you show love?
I show love by, I like to cook. I like to clean. I mean, I make money too, but, I like to, that's what I like to do. I like to give massages and all the extras. Okay. That's what I do. But the marriage thing is like, I don't know. I have never, ever been married my whole life.
Valley Girl, what?
Valley Girl has never been married. I've been in a relationship for a long time.
Okay.
I'm not, I don't like to run the street. But I think that, I don't know, I was on an Oprah event, and all the women were on there, and they asked me, they said, my best friend went with me and we were hanging out, and she said, you never been married? And no, I was with somebody for 26 years and I didn't get married. And they were wondering, they said, well, no, he didn't want to get married. And they started asking me questions. They said, no, I think she didn't want to get married. And I started to think about it. I said, is it true that I didn't want to get married? I do want to get married maybe one day, possibly. I don't know. But I do know that you show love to a person when you love them just by your actions, but just by the things that you do for them and do with them. You show love by I think you're supposed to put your man up. You're supposed to say how great he is, how awesome he is. You're supposed to push him in the direction that he needs to go in. You're supposed to be there. Even when things fail, you're supposed to say, hey, no, you didn't fail, baby. You did good. You just learned another way not to do it. And
it's that motivation talk, y'all. That's that motivation speaker. Y'all hear it coming out, right? You didn't fail. You just learned that you can't do it that way, honey. So now you make sure you have the proper amount of money before you open that business. Make sure you do your business plan. Come on, Valley Girl, talk to a motivational speaker. All right. Those are some wonderful points.
But that, can I also add to that? In order for her to say that, she has to have, she would have to have lived it. And a lot of times, what people don't generally do is they don't seek help to learn how to manage relationships. Like for me, for example, I learned a lot of my techniques through therapy. Without therapy, I would be a hot mess.
You'd be a wreck.
I'll be a wreck.
Going somewhere to happen.
Exactly. So I had to. So when I start my first therapy session when I was 19 years old, right? And I've had 3 therapists that I've seen over the last 20 plus years, and it helped me to become a better person, but also how to manage my emotions and feelings. But most importantly, how to communicate, how to be able to be fair in what I'm expressing, but also listening to what's being said. So that way I can understand. And when you understand, then you can make the better choice decisions. And so I would say through the techniques and through the experience and through the years, I've been able to really be able to have comfortable conversations and then not participate in conversations that were not comfortable.
Wow.
And that helped me. And so for Shawannah to say what she said, I totally agree because, at the end of the day, once you learn how to do something, you start to get better at it, you master it, but at the same time, you then start to realize that you don't have the tolerance for anything less, which means you're not going to deal with someone who's not going to reciprocate. You're not going to deal with someone who's not respectful. You're not going to deal with someone who isn't also compassionate and loving. Like, I love massages. Like she was talking about, I love giving them, but I love giving them, but I also like getting them. So you know what I'm saying? So if my woman don't want to give me a massage, my question would be, but you're getting them. Yeah. So if I'm giving you a massage, why can't you give me one? You know, so we're just talking about reciprocation. I think a lot of times reciprocation is missing in relationships, and that's why there's a disconnect. So when it's a disconnect, it's hard to connect.
So if a woman loves a man, she reciprocates.
That's it. And to me, that's simple, but it's not as simple these days because so many people are selfish and self-centered, and they only think about their own agenda. They're not interested in meeting the other person's needs because they're so focused on getting their needs met.
Okay. I could take that a little deeper, what I won't do it for this show with reciprocation.
I think a lot of times when people don't show that love is because maybe they just don't have it, you know. And then we have to remember that there's those 5 signs that people work off of. They work off of, you know, showing the attention, giving the attention. You know, what was the 5 love signs? There's 5 love signs.
5 love languages.
Yeah, the 5 love languages. We have that. And which you have to decide which one you are. And sometimes in the beginning of a relationship, you have to see the other person and you know what your love language is. And you have to know what the other person's love language is. And if you're able to give them that, there's a possibility you guys can move forward. But if you really can't give them what they desire, and, you know, they may want those love languages of the words and the things. They may want the touchy and the feely. They may want, you know, depending on what their love language is.
Yeah.
What is it? So
that's why you really have to talk about that early in the game, because there are men and women who do not like you to show affection with them in public.
Yeah.
Because my girlfriend told me she was standing in line at the movie, and she leaned over, she hugged her husband, she kissed him on the jaw. He pushed her back. Stop all that in public. I said, what? You have people like that. Right. You know, they don't want to show affection. And so if you know your person like that, then that's why it's good to talk about all these things before, and just if the person can't accept it, to really move on. Yeah. You know. So
the 5 love languages, just since I brought it up, words of affirmations, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, and physical touch. So the lady that you just spoke about, if she wants to be touchy, holding hands, and the husband's not, then, you know.
She need counseling.
Or he needs counseling.
Yeah. I mean, they both need counseling. Yeah. Because there are a lot of people who come from families that they have never, ever seen their mother hug, kiss, or pat them on the butt. They've never seen that. In particular, in a lot of African-American families. We used to see other folks do that, and we thought, oh, you know, why they doing all that? Why they got to be kissing in the front of their kid? Ooh, do you believe that? We thought that was just ridiculous. You know, we often wondered even how they made babies, because, you know, it's one of those things. So it's important. So before I go to the other one, I think I'll jump in and see if one of our guests want to make a comment about when signs and symptoms when a woman truly, truly loves her man. Is she there for just hanging on to something better come along, or is she there for the benefit? Because if that's the case, it's going to be totally different now, because when things get tough, she's out of there.
Yeah.
He's gone. You ain't getting no more sugar, no more poontang.
Horrible.
No.
Horrible. That's horrible. I mean, you're always supposed to be there for your mate, always, regardless of if you guys are struggling or happy. You're supposed to be there in good times or bad. That's why they have those words when you get married. You're saying, yes, I'm dedicated, regardless of how sick you get. I'm here for you, regardless of anything that happens. I'm here for you, and that really is true love. Being able to just be there for that particular person. And I love seeing that. I love when I see couples together and you can really see the true. It makes me smile. It makes me so happy to see true love out there. And I have a lot of my friends that are married and have been married for 30, 40 years. I think to myself, oh, that'll never happen for me because it's too late for 30, 40 years.
But it's not.
Well, you know, I'm going to have to live a long time.
It ain't never too late. It ain't never too late. It ain't never too late.
Yeah.
But I will say this, though. I will say this. For those couples that have been married for that long a period of time, like you, I enjoy talking to them, them sharing with me their journey, their struggles. it wasn't all peaches and cream. You know,
No.
a lot of them said that they didn't start really seeing the fruits of their marriage until that 10th, 15th, 20th year in, because there was so much development that had to take place. So I think what's missing today is the fact that people generally don't have the patience. They have this microwave mentality of how a relationship should be. Like they expect to just be
television.
Yeah,
what they see on TV.
Exactly. They look at TV and social media like, oh, I want that. I want that kind of relationship. I'm like, dude, that ain't.
And they create that as soon as they get with the person they created. It never happens because you didn't let that stuff work together and grow. It has to grow, I believe.
It has to grow.
I don't think you're supposed to jump in and say, "Oh, I love him so much." No, you don't.
No.
You don't even know him. How do you love him? And I think that, we just have to be patient. But I think true love, a man or a woman, not just a woman, I think both parties should show genuine affection, a genuine love, genuine caring about them as a person. I think they should check on them sometime. Hey, baby, what are you doing today? All those little things.
Well, what about, it's interesting when a person's not doing all these things that we're talking about before you got married. But now you expect it. You know what you want.
Yeah.
If the person wasn't touching, wasn't loving, wasn't showing these signs when you're dating, what make you think she's going to change? Or what make you think he's going to change? And that's what people do. They go into marriage in relationship with, I'm going to take this needle and thread. I'm going to sew him up over here.
No, you can't change anyone. You cannot change anyone.
No, you can't. You can't.
And that just cracks me up too. When you think you can change someone.
Right. Yeah. I know he's drinking. I know he drinks more alcohol. I know, but I'm gonna change him.
I know he's a cheater, but I'm gonna change him.
Yeah, he cheated on that person, but he's not gonna do that to me.
To me, no.
I got it going on.
You know what? Let me tell you how that really, because I hear this all the time. When I talk to people and they complain about what their significant other is doing. Right? And I say, well, how long you been with them? And they tell me how long. I said, well, were they doing this when you were dating them? Mm-hmm. They were like, yeah. I said, so what made you think that was going to stop? Like what you're doing is you're seeing this person who's comfortable. Mm-hmm. They feel that you've accepted them for who they are, and then now when you complain, they're like, well, I've been doing this. Like, why are you complaining now? Like, you knew when I was doing it at the beginning. So now you thought in your mind you can change that person. Mm-hmm. And when it didn't work, now you feeling some type of way. And now you have a problem and issue. I'm like, but you told yourself you can possibly change this person because of what you thought you can get. That don't ever work. So I'm like, you can't complain. That's why when I'm dating somebody, I ain't about to get in nothing serious until I really know who I'm dealing with. Because I want to ask questions. I want to spend time with that person. I want to throw scenarios out. I want to generally get to know a person and see if this is somebody I want to commit to long term. Because I'm not about to commit long term to somebody I know short term. Because I don't want to go into it.
Fixing. You don't want to go into it sewing them.
Exactly.
Put them on that single sewing machine, letting them up over here and taking. You don't want to do that.
No, we got to be free.
Ricky, but this is a real nice person. She has potentials. She has a good job. She's loving, but she likes to argue. But you can fix that, right?
Oh no.
No. Nah, buddy, that ain't it. That argument is going to just elevate.
No arguing.
Okay. They say whatever you're doing before you get married, the person feel like they can do more of that once you get married because now they kind of like own you. That's one of the reasons, Rick, I'm in the process of writing some new wedding vows because I'm tired of people lying.
You know what? It is all a lie. It's all. That's why I listen. If God blesses me to get married again,
you're gonna write your own vows.
I'm gonna write my own dang vows.
I think it's better anyway. You should write your own vows.
Yeah.
Because you know what you're really wanting to commit to.
It's genuine.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's genuine, and that's something.
And you will have decided before you come to the altar what you all are pledging to each other. Okay, folks. We covered 1, 2, 3. Is there any participant from the audience that would like to chime in? I'm surprised the Lord ain't said a word. Where am I, the Lord?
It looks like Joy's coming in.
Come on, George.
Hey,
Come on, child, what you got to say?
Well, being single for a long time and not dating for a long time, and then realizing I had fear of relating with anybody. And then because I don't want certain things. I don't want a drug addict. I don't want an alcoholic. I want to know if we're compatible. I don't know if I don't go try out to see if this, could talk to someone. I just stay away. I'm kind of guarding myself. And I had a friend that she's got out there on that, what do you call that thing when you do the dating thing online? But I just don't have the desire to do that. I don't feel I should do that. But seeing some people with good marriages gives me hope. I have some friends that have been married a long time. I know they probably had to work through the two rivers come together. They had to work through stuff. They've had children, they're grown, but they have traditions in their family that's so powerful to see and how they work together. I know they probably have stuff, but they handle it in between. They ain't telling nobody. If they're going through stuff, they ain't screwing it all over the country. They're dealing with it and keeping going, and they walk together. He works. He has a good job. She's at home. The kids are all grown, but they're all they love their parents, and I think two of them are staying at home, but they give their parents money. I mean, they don't. And the one that doesn't live there give their mama some money. But I just saw when they have the anniversaries, they go all out for each other.
So that gives you hope, right?
Yeah. Watching them gives me hope.
You know what is interesting? How we can see the good things, but most people remember the bad couple they saw. I'm not going to get married because I saw this. But focus on there are many happy people that's in relationship that's happy. I did a relationship about 15 years ago where we had 5 couples there who had been married over 30 years. And we had them to share their story. It was so inspiring because one man talked about, he said, oh yeah, he said, we've had times when we slept in different bedrooms, but we didn't leave because we had more in common than we did not have in common. So we just needed some space. Right. He said, and she said, I watched my friends who separated many times. She said, I never moved out and took my clothes, but I didn't sleep in the same room with them. I mean, it was hilarious, but it was truthful, and they talked about how happy they were that they didn't jump ship, that they worked through it, because they realized even if they had remarried with someone, whatever they were working through, they felt, I'm the same person. I'm taking this into the next marriage. So we need to fix it. So I wanted to say that. Dolores, I know you got something to say. Brenda, y'all just jump on in because I'm going to go to these other things we talked about. She nurtures him. She looks after him. And women don't feel like something. I ain't catering him on if he cook himself. I ain't his mama. I hear all kind of crazy stuff out there. But we talking about things that matter. Ask the man if it matters. You may be married to someone who wants to do the cooking because you can't. I'm going to say, let me lean over and say that. He may rather do the cooking because you can't, okay? Or he just may be a person who loves to cook.
Not me, Dr. Rosie. No.
There are a lot of men that love to cook, that love to prepare the food. So you don't want to be the one. You get out of the kitchen, this is my job. Stop labeling what's your job and what's his job. You may want to get out there and mow the yard just to get some exercise. We need to take labels off of what's his job, what's your job. So we're going to let the participant jump in. So go ahead and jump in, and I'll go to the next thing. Behavior when a woman loves a man. Okay, I see Ron beat his on. Go ahead on, yeah. Ron. Ron want to know when the woman loves him. Come on, Ron, talk to me.
Well, I'm just, I'm always a quiet person, but I think that if a person really, I don't like the fact that they cling on. Those clingers and those needy people. The ones who just needy, and they don't understand if you don't really ask them to be your lady friend or girlfriend for a long term, and they still cling on, it's like they don't recognize the fact that you're not going to marry them, and they still hang on. It's like they're blocking you. It's a blocker. They're blocking you.
Yeah.
Well, Ron is bringing on something like a woman you're in a relationship. You all guys never discuss that. See, the problem
Right.
is, Ron, you never discuss that whether it could be long term, what you're looking for. See, that become that issue because as long as you're seeing that person, you're giving them a false assumption that you're going to be with them because you're still with them. You never cut it off. And you say, because nobody can hang on. Y'all help me if I'm right or wrong. Nobody can hang on unless we give them permission. So something about that person, you know what's happening, Ron, it's like when I opened this show up and I said, is that woman with you until something comes along better that she really wants, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like stringing this person on because you going out to dinner, you're calling on the phone on the frequent, but you want her to go away because I ain't gonna marry you now. This was just something we was doing. That's
Right.
why it needs to be the type of communication. It may hurt, but you have to stop and say, you know what? What are you expecting out of this relationship? Do you expect long term, or are you thinking that one day we'll get married? These are the conversation, Ron, you need to have when you're in a relationship with a woman like that. Because that's double talking. See, men can double talk. Because they going to do the things that a woman loves, and he know what she loves, until he finds somebody that he really wants. She just happened to be somebody at that time. Does that make sense, Ron?
Yes, it does. That makes a lot of sense, and that's basically what's happened. And it's like if the person is a really nice person, you don't want to hurt their feelings, you know. And I get torn between that situation, that they're really, really good people. I just don't want to hurt them.
Yeah, but eventually somebody's gonna be hurt. Eventually, you want that person to go away. Later on, you're gonna get mad. You blocking me. Hell, this woman over here like me, and every time you're gonna want to slap her, okay?
Yeah.
But it's gonna come to. Am I right, Ricky? It's gonna come to a showdown. You gotta think. You're gonna be angry. You're gonna get angry, and then you're gonna start treating her different. And you say you don't want her to feel, but now she know. Well, why is he doing that? He used to didn't talk to me like that. Because when somebody start blocking and somebody over that you really like and looking at you and somebody standing in the way,
Yeah.
that ain't good.
That's not good. You're right about that.
No.
I agree.
And always think about what you would want to happen to you. What you want somebody to. You don't get through this life without hurting somebody. I'm going to repeat that. You may hurt somebody, but the person you hurt now, they would hurt worse later if you drag them along in a relationship. But you have to come first. I know that's a hard choice, but
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, don't let them block Ron.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think what's happening with Ron, it sounds like to me, like he has some friends that are his friends, and he doesn't want to let them go as friends. But the friends want to be a little bit more serious than being a friend, and he doesn't want to go any further. So sometimes you do have to let go of not really the friendship, but you have to really stop going out, because if you're going to dinner or if you're going to lunch with them, it is a false belief that you're going to have a relationship with them. And so by holding on to that, you're forcing them to think, you know, there's a possibility there. And sometimes women don't get it, especially when they like the man. They don't get that the man doesn't like them. No, he likes me because we went out last week, you know. And I think to myself, when you're really with someone, this is just my thoughts, you know, how much real quality time are you guys spending together? And if you're not spending quality time, then I don't know how that relationship is going to grow. If you see a man once a week and you're showing him love once a week, there's something wrong with that picture there.
So let's go back. So for men really is into a woman, Ron or Ricky, how often do you, because this question comes up often when women say, well, you know, we don't have that much time together. He doesn't spend time. If you really love a woman, don't you want to be with her often or not?
Well, you know, that's a tricky question, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because depending on where you're at in your career, depending on where you're at as far as if you have kids, responsibilities, those play a factor. For example, like I said, with me being in my 50s, I meet women who have kids who are grown, right? Mm-hmm. And they have more time. Now, if I was to meet younger women, they just starting out being a mother, or they're single. So I think it's just really based on where you're what people you're meeting and where they're at in their careers or their family life. And so I think for me, quality time is really about the time that you're willing to spend with that person to get to know them, and it's about sacrificing, but it's also about respecting the person's schedule. Because if a person already has a schedule, the question is, how can we compromise and work together within our schedules to be, because you got to start off somewhere. And as
so if she really cares, we back to that.
If you really like someone, you'll make the time for that person.
Yeah, or you would at least communicate, baby,
Yes.
I'd love to spend more time with you, but you know my schedule. Now, this month, that's where the conversation comes in.
Yes.
So you're absolutely right.
Absolutely right, yeah.
Let me go to the next. We did 4. She prioritized her relationship. In other words, she makes time for you to make sure that you feel valued, that you're not, just hanging out with somebody else. I mean, a person can't think that, because you start out, you got all this time, your job changed. Things happen. So you need to communicate that, because all of a sudden you're not doing things you used to do. You kind of leave something in the person's mind to kind of wonder, don't you think so? So communication is key. She's loyal and protective. We see this protection. Where do we see it most? We've seen it in celebrity wives and husbands. Don't care what they do. Hillary Clinton was right there with Bill. She didn't care what Lewinsky said, okay? She
didn't care.
She didn't care. She protected him. Now, you don't know what they do when they get home, but the woman who loves her man will protect him. Mm-hmm. They may be divorced the next week, but while she's with him, she's going to protect him. She's faithful, and she protects his heart, secret, and vulnerability. She don't get mad and then start talking about all these secrets you done told her that nobody ever knew about him. And women sometimes do that. That's why sometimes men do not want to become vulnerable, because you can bring it up later. You can hurt them later. Same thing with women. So they want to be able to be protected. She gives selfishly. I mean, she gives. She genuinely gives and supports. She doesn't feel like you have to do all the giving.
Right.
A woman would go out and buy her man something.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
She'll buy him a watch. She might even buy him a car if she had people. You bought him a car. If she has the money, if he buy her a car, what's wrong with her buying him a car? If he needs one and she has the money. I don't see nothing wrong with that. But people do it, and people chastise women who give large gifts to men. She's giving, not conditional. It's natural. She does it with joy. Now, I'm not talking about to the abuse. I'm not talking about to this man who wants to move in and brings nothing. I think when you start a relationship, I think it's key to lay on the table what both of you are bringing to the party.
Yeah.
Repeat that again.
Come on. Say it.
When you start that relationship, just put it on the table.
Yep.
What you're both bringing to the party.
Right.
And you have to be bringing more to the party than vagina and penis. Yeah. I sure said that.
You said that.
I sure said that.
You did.
That's what I'm saying. It matters, though. It really does matter. I tell a lot of people, when they're frustrated with their mate and that they truly love them, I tell them, you know what? I know you're mad at them, but the more you talk about what you're mad about with your friends, and that's why I tell people, don't be sharing your stuff with your friends and things like that, because they'll keep on. So what's going on today, girl? And they'll feed into that.
You every day. Yeah.
Feed into that negativity. And I don't think you're supposed to do that. I think if you're having an issue, have the issue within the family. Just like you said, Hillary Clinton, if she got mad at Bill, she didn't show it in front of everybody. So no one was saying Hillary. So we know Hillary is, we didn't see any of that because Hillary stood by his side every step of the way. So they're not going to sit up there and talk about that. But I think that sometimes when you're getting upset with your mate, you have to go back in time to when you first met him. When you first met him, you were in love with him. When you first met him, you were there for them.
Shawannah, mic went off.
Yeah, your mic went off.
Your mic went off, Shawannah.
Okay, I'm sorry. So you have to actually be there for your mate. When I tell them, go back in time. Go back in time. How were you when you first met him? How did you show the love for him? What was different? What did you do differently that you're not doing today? Are you holding on to the negative stuff? Let the negative stuff go. If you truly love him, let the negative stuff go. And think about when you were in love. Can you bring this back? And do that for 30 days and see if you can bring that love back. Because you don't have to let it go, but you have to consistently, just like you consistently been mad at him for 30, 60, 90, 120 days, consistently, you know what? I'm going to work on this today, and I'm going to consistently show him that, you know what? I do love him. And you can change actions just by you changing your actions. Definitely. So I tell people, if you love them, you go back in time and go back to the time that you were in love with them. You didn't get pissed off at them for everything. And that's what I believe. I think that if you go back in time, you can bring back that true love.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's like when I used to sell insurance, when people want to drop their policy. I said, okay, let's go back and let's look at why did you get this policy? When they look back at, because I wanted my family protected. I wanted to make sure if I passed away, my kids would be able to go to college. When I would take them back to the reason they bought that policy, they would always keep it. So you're right. You have to take people back. So it's important that we look at how we are going to do that and protect a person's heart. It's so important, you all. Because I've seen people in the middle of a divorce, you still should protect those vulnerable things that man or woman have shared with you. You should never come out of, well, I didn't never told y'all, but she was on the street when I met her. Well, nobody needs to know that. Leave that alone. It didn't work out, so you all just move on to the next scene. Okay, she communicates openly. You know, she shares her feeling, dream, and her fears. You know, she allowed her man to share all of that, and she shared it with him. She listened actively when he talks, and she works to resolve conflicts. Sometimes some conflicts, it may take you a long time to resolve, but long as the two of you know that you're working on it, don't bury it in the drawer. Look, just push this aside, forget that it happened. Work on it till it's resolved. Because sometimes it takes longer, particularly where there's infidelity. It may take longer for that woman to move on. Allow her the time to heal. Don't say, well, if you forgave me, I don't want to hear it no more. You gon' hear it. Oh, yeah, you gon' hear it, baby. Okay. But
it does destroy relationships, you know. I do think that if you do forgive them, I do believe that if you do forgive them, that you should not keep on bringing it up because all it's going to do is create friction.
But it's going to happen for a while. Ain't nobody going to say, okay.
But sometimes it happens for years, Dr. Rosie.
But it's okay. It's okay. Go ahead.
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you this, though. And this is just a question. And because I still can't get an answer for this question when I ask this.
It must be one of those 100-year-old questions.
Nah, it's 15 years.
Okay.
No, so and this is for women.
Okay.
If you say you really, truly forgive your man, right?
Yeah.
Then why is it necessary to keep bringing it up?
I said the same thing. I don't think you need to bring it up. Once you forgive him, Now, if he continues doing the same thing, yes,
if he make a vocation out of it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
what
if he did it
yeah,
once and you
yeah,
forgave him and you know that he's there for you, you know,
yeah.
8 months from now, you should, remember when you did, all it's going to do is create friction.
Well,
And really, you have to ask yourself, what are you really mad about at this point? 8 months go by, you're not mad about that. You're mad about something different, but you're bringing up the past that doesn't need to be brought into the
Exactly.
present that's eventually going to go into the future. Okay.
okay.
Bring up
I,
the problem that you're having at this particular time because it's not him cheating on you a year ago or 2 years ago. It's
that's
about
just
something that's happening right now.
that's just like a parents whooping the kid, huh? Well, you remember last year you did this, you did this before. But
Yeah,
what
so I don't
happened?
agree, Ricky. I don't think you should keep on bringing it up.
Well,
I
let
agree.
her bring it up. They gonna bring it up
They
for a
will.
while, not for a whole year. But this man told me that his wife, and she wrote a book called The Fairy Tale Marriage. They were a beautiful couple because what happened, he had an outside child, and he never told her, and she never would have known. Except he
Right.
felt like the outside girlfriend named her baby Junior, the same name that the wife had. So he's thinking, well, you know what? I gotta tell this because she may be out in the mall and meet this woman. She didn't know he had ever cheated. She said she never washed her car. He never missed a game. The man did everything perfect. So the only reason she knew, not because she went in his wallet, he told her. So then she wanted to know what the woman looked like. Women always want to know what the woman
Of
looked
course, you want to know what your competition is,
like.
right?
But he said how he realized that he messed up and that he had to help heal that. So what he said he did whenever he left home, he told her where he went, and he said, I was where I told her I was going. He found ways to build her trust back in him again. So
But
these are things, sometimes you got to find a way to build that trust back.
right,
But
but
if
that's
she
kind of
brings
a
it up
problem too,
again
Dr. Rosie.
because something you do similar that takes
Yeah.
that woman or that man back to, because, all of a sudden when you saw you were cheating, you were coming home, you late, you stayed, say you were at the office. Little signs, little things, I think,
Right,
triggers. You got to look at what triggers, Ricky. Like people who drink alcohol, you got to look at what do the psychology look. What triggers this? So we got to always, whatever your significant other's doing,
Yes.
let's look at what triggers.
right,
What
Yeah.
triggers her to think that I'm cheating now? What triggers her to think that I'm messing off with the money? What
right,
triggers her to think that I'm not loving her now? We
right.
need to always look for
Yeah.
triggers. Is
I
that
think
right?
Yeah. You know what, Dr. Rosie, you said that, he checks in after a while and he wants to let her know and let her feel comfortable.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like a catch-22 as well, because a man that's not used to doing that, a man that's not used to checking in like, hey, I'm going here, I'm going
But
there.
you do it because you want to save
And
that marriage.
you're doing it because you're trying to make your mate feel better.
Right.
I
Shouldn't
think
you do that?
I think there may be something else that you may need to do because after 6 months, you're not going to want to do that. If you're not a man that wants to check in, you're not going to feel comfortable.
But
The
why
minute
wouldn't
you
you
stop
want to
checking
check?
in, that's when you start having problems again.
But Shawan, why wouldn't you want to check in if that makes your love feel comfortable? See, we
Well,
don't want to do things that makes the other one comfortable. I don't think it's necessary. Why I have to do this? Because it makes me feel good. And
yeah,
it's not hurting you, it's not costing you to do it. That's the thing I think that we forget in relationship. Because we don't want it. It doesn't matter to us, but it could matter so much to your mate. I think that's why marriages end, because what's not significant to
what do you
one
think, Ricky?
person. Because I remember when I got married, we were used to sharing gifts and stuff, okay? But my husband, their family was not, you know, hugging and loving and doing the way my family was. So we went to the store and he gave me the credit card and I bought a whole lot of stuff. So when Christmas, he shared all the stuff with his sisters and Mama, I'm looking up on the tree. Where my stuff? He figured, I thought you got what you wanted. I gave you the card. So people come from different families. I was pissed to the hilt. I started to take all the stuff he had for his family and tear it up. But I decided I wasn't gonna do that because I may have some repercussions. But
Dr. Rosie, I think
saying, Shawannah, what means something to one person, if it means something to you, then go buy, even though you gave her the money to get your stuff. Now that you know that I expect a gift if you buying other people, then you go next year, I got a gift too. I'm just saying, it may be little to you. What's little to you is big to, maybe big to your mate.
Yeah.
Ricky,
we're
on the brink of closing.
Yes. What were you gonna say, Ricky, about that?
I was gonna say, yeah, I mean, we just got a chat saying we're about to close the show, but I will end with this. I do believe that checking in from time to time is healthy. I just think that if that's communicated, what you need, then I think it's not a problem doing it, because my thing is this. I want to have peace in whatever I'm in. So if a person is asking for something that's not going to hurt me and is not going to take me out of bounds, I'm going to do it. Okay. Because for me, simplicity is this. Because I know if I do it, and if I'm going to need something, then I'm expecting you to do it as well. So it's kind of like it's a give and take. Like, okay, you're asked for this. Okay, well, at some point I'm going to need this. Now, if you got a problem with it, but wait a minute. You needed this and I gave it to you. So what's the problem? So it's kind of like it's a give and take. And I think that as long as it don't hurt you, like Dr. Rosie said, and it doesn't take you out, that I don't have a problem doing it, because I'm all about being simple and peaceful.
Okay. Do it like the politicians do when they know it's wrong, but if you vote for my bill, I'll vote for yours. You guys have a great day, Dolores and Brenda. I guess I'll hear from Brenda next week. Okay, Joy, you guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You guys have a great day.
Thank you, Dr. Rosie.
Good to see
have
you.
Have a great one, guys.
Bye-bye.
Okay.